us now is Tyvis Powell. And Tyvis, we have not had a hot take from you in quite a while. We've incorporated you into segments the last couple of weeks, but that changes today because your hot take of the week is. Take it away.
My hot take of the week is that you know how when we look at quarterback play and we so enamored with the quarterback play in the NFL and all of football, right? I think that the coaches today have not done a good job of preparing quarterbacks so much, and it's so bad that teams are naturally going to start running the ball more. I think that the value of the running back position is going to start coming back in a stronger momentum because I just look around the league and I'm like, all right, we had a few drafts where no running backs would go first round. The last couple, we had like two to three running backs go in the first round. So to me, that running back value is starting to go back up. And I think that some of these coaches is just kind of throwing their hands in the air like the quarterbacks aren't getting it and it's taking too long. I mean, you think about a guy like Sam Darnold, it took him four different teams to finally get it and get to the Super Bowl. I think that coaches and front offices are realizing how challenging it is at the quarterback position, that they're like, I see why they did it back in the 80s and 90s, why they just ran the ball and kind of took the quarterback out of it. I think we're going to move more towards that, more so than being so enamored with the quarterback position.
Can I turn that around on you a little bit? Because what you said is exactly what you said is exactly what Tom Brady said. I just looked it up to make sure I had it right, that Brady said teams are dumbing down their playbooks because the quarterbacks aren't as advanced. So why not? Because this is the part I don't understand. With all of these, we were just talking about this at the open of the show, all of these facilities now that exist and all of these quarterback camps and all of these special trainers and everything, quarterbacks should be more prepared than ever when they enter the NFL. Because where's the gap here? Why does this gap exist?
Maybe it's too many people in the room. Maybe I got a quarterback trainer, I got a quarterback coach, and I got an offensive coordinator. Maybe all three of them don't align. Maybe different guys is teaching different terminologies and philosophies, and quarterbacks can't make the transition from one guy to another. I would hope that all three guys will be aligned because everybody got a quarterback coach. You would hope that they're all aligned with the team, but maybe that message is being foggy somewhere. And then on top of that, when you get to college, with the transfer portal now, it's like, hey, I need this guy to play right now because if he don't play right now, he's going to leave. So now it's like, how can I get this guy on the field now to play before I lose him? Well, he can't pick up the whole entire playbook. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to give him a certain amount of plays, and he's just going to have to learn those plays. We ain't got time to teach him a full playbook. We got to teach him something that can get him on the field to play right now. And ultimately, it's kind of ruining things because now they're not getting the solid foundation and the fundamentals of quarterbacks because you're rushing these guys out there to play, and now they're trying to pick it up on the fly as the game goes, and it's just not going well. So maybe that probably plays a big part into it as well.
Man, you know what, man? I don't want to really go over it. I like what you just did right there. You got G Bush thinking. You know what I'm saying? I had to put my history, you know what I'm saying? I've been watching, you know what I'm saying, X-Men 97. And they showed the origins of Apocalypse. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I like what you just did right there because I believe in human nature and human evolution. Evolution is not a straight linear path. Like there's ebbs and flows, right? There's times where civilization is very smart, like in the pyramids and Egyptians, and they got the Romans and they had aqueducts and water, but we also had the Dark Ages. I think when you look at this concept and you say, okay, quarterback play, I think we looked at it as a very small sample size of like the last 30 years because the sport is relatively in the golden era. However, quarterback play is not on a linear trajectory. You can have periods where you have a couple of people that really bring up the level of your play in your mind. When you get Peyton Manning, when you get Tom Brady, when you get Drew Brees, when you get some of these guys that are generational guys that just happen to hit at that time period, we like to think that every class got generational people. Every 3 years there's something. That ain't necessarily true. You might hit a rough spot where it's like, well, for the last 5 years, we had mid guys. So I think we got to look at it as a whole, Tyvis, and say Sometimes it's not about, yes, the quarterback is important, but in the 80s and other eras, you might have to learn to use your best players in a way to win a
Hmm.
championship. I'll give you a prime example. Dustin's Buckeye teams won championships different than your Buckeye team won championship. One
Well,
team
not
was like,
necessarily. Not
what?
necessarily. They both had a great running back that kind of led the whole thing. I mean, he had Maurice, we had Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, at the end of the day, feed the running back, and it always
But
comes back to running the
But
ball.
Craig Krenzel, he wasn't throwing for no 300. He wasn't throwing for 350, 320. They was very
Mhm.
close to the vest. Cardell came in, he got hot a little bit, but y'all was putting them up. Listen, look what y'all did to, I believe it was Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game, right? Y'all had to blow
59
them out.
59 to nothing.
So that wasn't that wasn't how they was doing it. But my point is, sometimes it's a different way to skin a cat. It's two different ways, and maybe the running back position is what's next.
I think what the problem where teams are failing at is that they're taking these quarterbacks in the first round and then putting everything on their shoulders. You know, we're gonna take you with the first or second pick of the draft, and you're gonna come in. We're gonna give you the playbook, and you got to go out there and win us the game. And I think that's not the right thing to do. Because you take them so early, in theory, you will want that to be the thing. But I think that what you got to start doing is those teams with great run games need to be the ones that go draft the quarterback because now it's a fallback. You know, the running back is the lead. That's what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball successfully, and now we got a quarterback that can slowly get his confidence as the season goes on, to where some of these guys are. We got the quarterback at the first pick. This guy got to come out here from day one and be that guy. Bryce Young, you know, he was a guy that was taking the first pick, and everybody put the whole thing on Bryce Young's shoulders, and he crumbled and he failed. Now, obviously, it took him a couple of years, but he's built it back up and he's bounced back. I think that's what it is. You got to give these rookies something else. They can't be the primary spot of trying to win the game. It got to be somebody else, whether that's the running back or you got a skillful wide receiver that you can get the ball to right now and he makes plays. But I don't want you to put all the pressure on the quarterback. I know that's what the job entails, but I think it takes these young quarterbacks more than just 1 year. It takes them year 3, year 4 for it to fully click. And by that time, these guys have already made the decision because of how the first 1 or 2 years have gone that they're like, we're already planning on moving on anyway. So by the time it clicks, he's went on to another school or went to another team where that guy's like, all right, let me teach you this, let you be the backup and then throw you in there. And now these guys is flourishing. So I just think the whole way that we're doing, and it starts with college. Cause again, like I said, college is like, I'm trying to save my job as a hit. I need you to come in and play right now as a hit so I can keep my job as a head coach. So I'm gonna teach you something very small. The college game is not as complex as the NFL is. And on top of that, you don't even need to read the defense. Just check with me. I'll tell you what to run. It's that simple. Look at me, I'll give you the hand signal and we can run that. It's like that in college right now. So these guys aren't truly learning how to go out and dissect the defense. So many quarterbacks come into the NFL and say, I can't read the defense. I don't know what they in. Like, how many times have we heard that? It takes guys years 2, 3 in the league to truly fully understand how to read what a secondary is in. And that's because so many times we're running this hurry up, no huddle offense where the coach is saying, check with me and I'm going to tell you what to run. I'm going to tell you, look at me, I'm going to give you the signal and that's the play. So I think that if knowing that I'm taking or drafting a guy that's been in that type of process, then I need to understand that I need to have a strong run game and depend on that. Obviously, that quarterback's got the arm talent and got the characteristics to come in there and make some plays, but that's not what I'm counting on. I'm really leaning heavily on my run game, which is honestly, the Browns could really use that this year with Quinshon Judkins if they decide to go with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, Tyvus, I think you nailed it right on the head there with your take on college. And, you know, these quarterbacks that I see every week, and you see them too, as you're doing your college coverage with Big Ten, they're just getting the one read, and they're either going with that, and they're going to that guy, and they may have a second read, and then it's take off and go, or it's really a quick decision, and they just look to the sidelines so often and look for whether it be a hand signal or, you know, a funny picture of Lee Corso that gives them the play, and then that's where they're going to go. The other thing I would say is you know, these guys, when they jump schools, and it's like you got a guy who's been at like 5 schools in 5 years. It's crazy to think about. This guy literally has had to learn like 5 different languages. So he probably doesn't know any of the languages fluently. You know what I mean? So he's coming to the league and really doesn't know anything other than just the basics from where he was at, because these coaches are just trying to get them lined up and get him on the field. It's like, this guy's got a strong arm. He's really talented. He's fast. So we got to get him on the field. I would be looking, if I'm an NFL team, I'd be looking for guys that have been in a program, high-level blue blood program, for 3+ years. And I know that doesn't happen very often, but when it does, you're going to be looking at that guy. Like an Arch Manning, for example, is going to be coming out here after staying at the same school, for several seasons. And all of a sudden now you're going to be like, this guy may have some sort of continuity with what he learned. And then also, you may, if you're a team that runs something similar to what Texas runs, that's the guy that you want to have in your program to get him ready to go right away. And maybe you can put a little bit more on his plate as opposed to somebody else who's in that one read type of offense and really hasn't had to learn how to read a defense.
So how long do you think teams should stick with a quarterback? And I know that sounds like a loaded question given the circumstances of the Browns are in. And I don't mean it to be. I'm looking more like Sam Darnold. He was 7 years.
What round are you taking them in?
Well, first. We'll say first.
Give us a first, Tyvis, and then a non-first. Because if the answer is different, I want to know both answers.
I mean, Sam was terrible with the Jets. He wasn't terrible. He just wasn't good enough.
How many years was
7 years? It was 7 years before he figured it out. Now, no coach is going to survive 7 years with bad quarterback play. So how long? That's like the sticky wicket with teams is like, how long are you supposed to? Because I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just don't know how long you're supposed to give a guy to figure it out.
I think it just depends on the player. I mean, and the thing is that one thing that a lot of people got to understand is that people learn at a different pace. Like sometimes it takes people longer. It might take maybe me maybe a couple weeks and I got it. And then it takes the next guy maybe 2 years to figure it out. Like that's just what it is. And I think the talent you have to see the progression. And you have to see like production a little bit. Like you have to be able to be like, all right, he's slowly picking it up. It's not at the pace that I wanted at, but I can see it. Like Bryce Young. I wouldn't give up on Bryce Young. Like Bryce Young had the terrible first year, got bent. Wait, did he get benched his second year or his first year? And then obviously I think did they go to the playoffs this year? Or they beat the Rams?
They playoffs this year. They almost beat the Rams.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is a guy who everybody thought was a bust. Like, CJ Stroud should have been the number one pick over him because CJ Stroud came in right away and it just clicked for him. To where Bryce Young, it took him a couple years, but now it seems like he figured it out and now he's making plays. So I think realistically, to answer your question, if I'm taking a guy in the first round, you have to give him a minimum of 3 years. I think and it seems crazy to say that, but I would give him a minimum of 3 years. If you're talking about a guy outside of that, well, depending on the rounds, if you're taking a guy in the 4th, 5th round, you're taking that guy as a developmental guy anyway. So you got to give him way longer of a runway to that. And he kind of works his way up. This is a guy that you just keep in the program. He learns the playbook. Slowly he becomes the backup, and then from there on, if he truly has the talent, then he becomes your starter, and there you go, away we go. So I think it's just different for different people because again, everybody learns at a different pace, but you have to see some progression and he has to be able to produce a little bit on the football field.
Tyvis, in that same vein, and I'm going to use Bryce Young and CJ Stroud as the examples. CJ Stroud started here and has been on a downward trajectory since he was drafted. Mm-hmm. Bryce Young started here and has been on an upward trajectory since then. If you're the Texans, and I'm going to use Stroud, it could be anyone. You said 3 years. Are you evaluating Stroud on the full body of work or the fact that he's taken a step back, rookie season, a second season, a third season? Hopefully he can bounce back, but there's no proven track record with him that he is the guy that you thought you were getting with the 2nd overall pick.
So CJ Stroud's case is he came out in the first year, lit it up. Second year, he regressed a little bit, but he was still a really decent quarterback. I want to say he might have got hurt. And then last year, obviously, everybody remembers him from the playoff performance. If he doesn't throw 3 or 4 picks, you're talking about a team that probably advances to the next round, and probably is playing with Denver, I think it would have been. So when you look at him, I think the Texans did the absolute right thing, not picking up I don't think they pick up his 5th year. Or they haven't signed him. That's what it is. He's mad that they haven't signed him, and he feels like he's proven himself. Well, you're only as good as your last game. Now, the thing with CJ is CJ started with Bobby as the OC. They fired him. got a new OC in there, so he's had to deal with change, and that plays a factor into it. This is obviously the big year for him. I mean, a front office evaluates quarterbacks 2 years out. So they already have this upcoming draft of quarterbacks that they're looking at and next year's draft already. So if CJ doesn't pan out this season, then I think it's safe to say that they're probably going to move on. And I think a lot of people would understand why. However, I don't think that's the end for CJ. I think that he could go to another team. And if you got the right guy in there that's breaking things down and explaining it to him and he can grasp it at a fast pace, he can bounce back and have a Sam Darnold type thing. But the thing with CJ is the reason why you don't want to give up on him is because he's already proven that he can make those plays in the league. And he actually does it pretty well. He just had a bad postseason that everybody just can't seem to forget.
Tyvis, man, it's a good conversation. We'll check back in with you next week. We appreciate you, and we'll give you a go Buckeyes, right?
Go Bucks.
Man. Go Bucks, man.